All right, tonight I have a former NFL cheerleader who stands accused of sexually abusing a 16-year-old student at the high school where she taught English. Former Cincinnati Bengals cheer captain Sarah Jones pleaded not guilty to first-degree sexual abuse and unlawful use of electronic devices, which is an interesting, sounds bizarre. Yesterday in court, the family of the 16-year-old boy was there to support Sarah. Joining me tonight, clinical psychologist Michelle Gollin. I also have Owen Lefebvre, whose wife Deborah pleaded guilty to lewd and lascivious battery after a sexual encounter with a 14-year-old in 2004, and attorney Lisa Bloom. She is author of the book Think. All right, Lisa, I guess the first question is, would this be handled differently if this were a male adult perpetrator?
I think there is no question that female accused perpetrators get much more of a pass in our criminal justice system than males. And Owen can speak to that. I mean, Deborah Lefebvre is a perfect example. Her attorneys argued she was too pretty for prison. I mean, can you imagine saying that a male sexual predator is too good looking to go to prison? That would never fly. And the studies are, in fact, that female defendants across the board, especially in these kind of cases, get lighter sentences. They get treated with kid gloves at every stage of the justice system. And that's a shame because Dr. Drew, as an attorney, I've represented males who were sexually abused by adult females, and I'm here to say that the harm is lasting and profound, and these women should not be given a pass.
Yeah, Michelle Gollin, I'm sure you'll agree with exactly what Lisa's saying, which is that when you look at the outcomes of these young males who are sexually abused by women, even though the world goes, oh, lucky dude, way to go, man, the outcomes are horrible. More addiction, more sociopathy, more serious problems.
And very serious problems and difficulty in female relationships. And I see that all the time, just as Lisa with her clients, with my clients as well on that end, that they struggle in relationship for having been. This is a violation of their rights and being able to have choice.
Lisa, by the same token, though, we're looking at pictures of this young cheerleader. Do we have a tendency to be too tough sometimes, in the media at least, at jumping to conclusions about women who are attractive and use their sexuality maybe to make a living? And I wonder about that, since we have a situation here where this kid's family is supporting this young woman, which makes me wonder if these allegations aren't false.
You know, Dr. Drew, this is why I love you. You're one of the few people on TV who has the guts to even ask that question. And I think the answer is yes. We have a love-hate relationship with women who are cheerleaders, who are sexy, who are strippers, who are prostitutes. You know, we love to show them on camera. You know, men lust after them. But they do something wrong, we want to throw the book at them, right? And that's a shame as well. I mean, this is a young woman. She's a teacher. She is presumed innocent. It's very interesting that the victim's family is standing behind her. I want to know if the victim is standing behind her. Is that because she's innocent, or that's because he says it was consensual? Because we know that a 16-year-old might think that, but it can't be consensual. A 16-year-old can't drink, can't vote, can't have a job full-time, can't drop out of school. A 16-year-old legally is a world apart from a young adult in their early 20s, and that's why they're not allowed to have sex with adults.
Absolutely. We know that's brain development.
Yes.
You talk about that all the time.
Right.
That's why being able to have 18 as the consensual age is because of brain development and how they can actually understand the consequences of their actions.
There are two things, Michelle, I would say. One is the brain development, as you mentioned, but the second thing is that young people have a way of perceiving as though they're giving consent when in fact they're getting manipulated in a situation. I think about Mackenzie Phillips, who talks about this with her dad, feeling like she was romantically involved with her dad, and yet he was the one manipulating her into that state. This isn't the first time that Sarah has had a sex scandal, though, now, so we're going to look a little bit more what's going on with this young woman. A few years ago, the website The Dirty, not the greatest resource, they put photos up of her, accused her of sleeping with the NFL players. She responded to that posting on ABC's 2020. Take a look.
I could not face my students, my faculty members, the school board. I was completely embarrassed because it's devastating to read those things about yourself. I think I sent 20 to 30 emails. The damage was already done. I just wanted the pictures down.
Now, Owen, you're the only one of us that has actually been through something like this personally. Do you have a take on what's going on with this woman? Does your instinct tell you anything about what's going on here?
Well, the unfortunate thing here is, Drew, I think she's got no credibility at this point. I mean, whether those things that were posted, and in fact, you know, on this website, it's third-party people that are posting information on the site, But, you have to believe where there's smoke, there's fire, because, of course, those allegations of her sleeping with the team had happened in the past. And here again, now she's arrested for allegedly having sex with a minor while she's in a position of power and trust and authority as a teacher, and she resigned from her position. I think if you're innocent, you fight, right? In this case, she decided to run away.
And again, you having been through all this, do you have any feelings yourself about these kinds of cases? I imagine, I imagine you do. So let me just put that out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I think at first, I have a tendency to try to look for parallels. And here you have an attractive teacher, an English teacher, just like my ex-wife was, who was very well respected. And when something like this reaches national media attention, which, of course, my case did, very difficult. I remember feeling like I was standing at the edge of an abyss, wishing someone would push me. So very difficult, I'm sure, for her, as well as, her people around her that support her. But I don't want to lose sight of the fact that, potentially we have a victim here in the boy. And, I was very encouraged by Lisa and Michelle's comments, because there is a double standard, and these boys are victims.
And I want to ask you one other kind of delicate question. And you were, in a way, one of the victims as well of Deborah's behavior, as were your children. How did you react when you hear people encouraging this behavior by the young male, like, oh, he's so lucky, she's so hot, those kinds of indelicate remarks?
Well, I tell you, before this happened to me, Dr. Drew, I've probably been one of those people with that opinion. But after having lived through that myself, and just the pain and the anguish, I have a different perception, as well as I worked on a documentary where I had the opportunity to interview a number of boys that were victims, and it gave me a completely different perspective. And it really, I guess, opened my eyes, and I'm sensitive to, all sides of something.
Michelle, you
like
want
this.
to make a comment?
Yeah. Well, one, I want to applaud you for doing a documentary and exposing the real truth about what sexual abuse of younger boys can be. And the thing that I'm also upset about is how these parents of this young boy are responding. If this is the truth, that they are hiding that fact. I guarantee you, when that 16-year-old is in his 20s, he isn't going to appreciate what his parents did. He's going to have the perspective of, hopefully after therapy and so forth, of how they truly let him down, and the fear of other children, other boys in that school. Because the fact, I don't care that she's a cheerleader, I don't care that she's pretty, I don't care about any of that. The fact that she is a teacher, and I don't care that Kentucky is 16. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The fact is she is a teacher and in a position of power.
And as you and I know, that in a position of authority, when you are setting the model for relationships that have to carry through into adulthood, you violate that trust, you end up crushing those young developments. You really do.